Cheating is a big problem in Geoguessr. It is very easy to cheat, and especially at the low levels in duels, people do it all the time, I have a feeling. And of course, because it's so easy to cheat, because there are so many of them, it's hard for the devs to stay on top of the issue, and that's why they've released a new system here. So this is my first time interacting with it. Basically, I think you get a case of someone who's potentially cheating, who has been reported at the end of a duel by their opponent, and you press review, and apparently you watch a replay and give your verdict about whether you think they were cheating or not. Now, if you're familiar with Counter-Strike, you'd probably know about Overwatch. This is, I think, modeled after that. So let's go in here and see if some of these people are cheating. From what I've heard, the current system is not ideal. First one here, we have a moving round. I immediately know from the house signs that this is Vienna. Now, I'm pretty sure we don't know what rank they are. So let's just see if they play in a suspect way here. I think we only get one round as well. So he's immediately going into the map without even looking around and guessing Vienna. Yeah, I think that seems pretty reasonable to me. Even on the right side of the river, switches to the middle, and it ends up being right where he initially plonked. Our guy didn't even look around here. So there are three options. One, this guy's from Vienna, or he's been there a lot of times. Two, he's high rated. Or three, he's cheating. And I actually don't know which of them it is, so I guess we have to submit the verdict of not guilty here. Look, it's very hard to say, especially on a moving game when someone plays like that and you can't see the rating. Now, if I could see an Austrian flag on the account, or if I could see a rating that was below 1,000, I might say I was confident to give a guilty verdict here, but as it stands, I'm gonna submit not guilty on this one, and we should be able to jump right back in. Okay, next case, it'll take us straight in here. Moving again. This one, I assume, hopefully will be a bit more interesting than the last one, or have a bit more depth to it. From what people have been telling me, there's a lot of like Googling going on in these cases. So let's see. I mean, the start of the round here, the guy seems to be doing nothing. Starts the game a little bit late and is immediately looking at signs. Not terrible. Sees Valholt there. The way that this person is moving around feels quite low rated to me, I would say. Not really like effectively getting down the street, which is fine, of course. Doesn't necessarily mean anything in this case. Just a note in case we see something really crazy. But I would assume this is maybe Reykjavik. And if it is, then I think we couldn't say anything apart from that this person's just gone capital city when they didn't know. That's an interesting switch. Goes over to Selfoss there and it ends up being correct. Okay, well that is interesting. What exactly made our guy switch from Reykjavik to Selfoss? Maybe the fact that it was so flat? Don't really know. This was suspicious actually. So let's go back and look here. So we have landscape there. Definitely makes sense. I actually couldn't submit that I'm confident of cheating here because ultimately maybe the person just thought, hey, it's not a capital city, doesn't have capital city vibes, and just switched to the next city. I mean, let's see how many options there are. Like Selfoss is definitely one of the bigger ones around here, I think. Just without that context, I'm not comfortable saying that this was a cheated round. I'd also like to see more rounds, right? Then I would say not guilty here. I think there probably is cheating going on, but only probably, not certainly, and basically need to be almost certain. So next one here, and let's see what goes on here. So looking around, clearly Australia here, and let's see what our guy ends up doing. Will this be suspicious at all? Looks in at this road. Okay, the north road. This north of Murray does not have coverage. The coverage does go up to Murray, I believe, and then maybe a tiny bit further, but pretty much between Birdsville and Murray, there's nothing on this road covered. And it ends up being this road down here, the A32. To me, this doesn't look particularly suspicious. I mean, they're similar roads, similar road angle. I think I'm confident to say that this person is not cheating, or at least if they are, that is not evidence of it. So I guess we'll just keep going here until we get someone who's blatantly cheating. That's what I want to see. Someone who I can actually hit the ban hammer with. I don't think me alone would do that, but you know, obviously with other people, hit the ban hammer collectively. We have a moving game. This is a bit more interesting. I want to see someone go for a fat Google. That's what I want to see. Okay, we have some signage coming up here. You have to also definitely pay attention to the movement. Like, does this person feel like they're moving like a pro player would? No, I don't really think so. We should be near Manila here, I think. I think I saw the mile marker on that yellow thing. Yeah, that means we should be near Manila, I believe. Okay, moving down the road. This is a very long moving round. Let's see, we got the cigarette ads. Cigarette ads in Southeast Asia are completely useless. He has stopped in the middle of the round there. I wasn't commentating because it's just kind of moving down this road, but he stopped for a good like 5 or 10 seconds there, so not really sure what the meaning of that was, but definitely interesting. Maybe you just picked up a glass of water, or I have no idea what. Moving on here, we should get to some useful signage soon. Normally on, yeah, here we go. So we're in Negros Occidental, and now we get the question. So if this person actually knows where Negros Occidental is, then they would zoom in immediately. However, what our guy is doing is not that. So it makes me kind of suspicious that we might have a bit of a Google session going on now. So it all comes down to how accurate the suspect's guess is, because if this ends up being a super accurate guess, there is nothing that you could glean from looking at this sign for so long, you know? He's not even got the map open. I think that may be what's going on here, guys. I think we might find our first cheater here. And okay, finally the map is open. Excellent. And zooming into, very much struggling to find where he wants to zoom into here, but finally onto Negros. Okay, it's interesting. It took him so long to open the map. Now we have to see how close he's gonna get. He was in the east and now he's looking west. And okay, he did find, interesting. See, by simple logic, this guess is so possible, but the fact of the matter is, he stared at the sign doing nothing for way too long for me to be comfortable with this. You know what I mean? Like, everything makes sense except for that big gap. Because I think, like, you know, we got Negros Occidental on the other sign as well. It is actually just, like, logically findable as well as the town name. Like, it all makes sense apart from how long everything took. I'm gonna say not guilty of scripting, guilty of Googling. I'm relatively certain about it because just the way things happened didn't make sense, did they? Okay, let's head through to the next one. Now I want to see someone scripting. Moving game again. Seems like, I think a lot of the cheating on Geoguessr does happen in moving. I mean, there's a lot more opportunity to cheat. And as I said, a lot of the cheating in Geoguessr happens at the lower level just because it's so easy to do. But don't do that. That's my advice. It makes the game not as fun for everyone. Here we go. Maximum 50. So we're in Canada. We got the single yellow line. I would say just somewhere out in Eastern Canada, most likely here. Checks the number plate. I like that. Clearly someone who's clued in at least a little bit with, you know, Geoguessr meta and that kind of thing. We haven't really seen that from previous players so far, so that's good. And we have an area code here, maybe? No, we don't. I thought maybe it's New Brunswick because there was a bit of red on the plate, which doesn't really make sense for Ontario and Quebec, although it kind of looks like Ontario. So maybe one of the ones I mentioned. Let's see. Staring at this car for a weirdly long time. Could he be Googling a number plate? That would be diabolical. I'm surely not. I mean, what about the real estate? There's a very weird movement going on right now, but I don't even know what he'd be Googling. So I guess we just have to wait and see if there's a really accurate guess, because maybe he quickly got some info off the real estate agent sign. I feel not though. I feel like it's legit here, just kind of weird movement. Still no area code, so I can't tell you guys where it is yet, but we do have a Canadian flag there. And we got a green sign up here, so this is kind of the moment of truth. Will our guide go to the dark side? Okay, what do we have here on the plates? Again, red, and I think we saw something CH, so that would be French, I believe. So I think I do like New Brunswick here with the red plates and everything. He goes New Brunswick, and it's a decently close guess. This will look legit to me. It seems like someone who did have a knowledge of Canada somehow. I don't know why the big breaks in the middle of the round. Oh, there's a difference between not guilty and insufficient evidence. I would say not guilty here though, and not guilty of scripting. I actually should have read this a little bit more closely, because we could have said insufficient evidence for some of the other people, but on this occasion, I would just say not guilty. I mean, it looked a little weird, but I'm gonna need some more strong evidence than that, I think. Okay, there we go. We're back in moving, and we've got some double concrete poles. I want to see someone script. Come on, you know, it's nice to like give not guilty, but .sk, okay, Instalock in Bratislava, and it's there. That's definitely insufficient evidence. Did he go way too quickly? Probably, but yeah, I'm gonna say that. That's fine by me. Next one, let's get to it. Looks like the Nordics somewhere, and immediately we have that. Sundehus is like some kind of a town hall or something, not quite sure. We have some language. It might be the town name as well, not quite sure. Is it Denmark? Okay, this looks like a Google, right? At least he didn't zoom in on the sign and stay there for an egregious amount of time, but well, no, might have just been looking. I don't know. The cheaters can be tricky, but I would say so far, nothing crazy. We'll have to see if they zoom in for the 5K though. It's kind of a tough round, right? There's not much going on, but it is Denmark. Now onto the main street, so now many more opportunities to get Googleable things. Okay, taking a look around and immediately zooming in to Denmark. I think there was definitely sufficient evidence to get Denmark here. And how close will it be? Yeah, again, just a capital city. So yes, there was a little bit of strange movement. It was not anything like too crazy. I would just say not guilty here. You could say insufficient evidence for this one. I don't know. Like to me, it just felt like a very normal Jules guess, especially on the world map. You just kind of go to the capital all the time. So am I confident not guilty? I don't know. Like I just don't have enough context with the rating and everything to say that. It just seems like a very standard guess to me. Anyway, next one here looks like Mexico. This is a fairly difficult round, and we immediately have a water tower. Now on these water towers, you often get the town name in the US. I'm not really sure how it works in Mexico though, to be fair. Okay, some interesting movement here. Honestly, seems like this person's pretty clued in. This feels like a higher rated jewel, and we have something Central General de Campeche zooms into Uruguay. Okay, that is unique. Okay, well, with Gen 4, so I like the way this person is going for signs and trying to get info, but I don't really like the fact that they've zoomed into a Gen 3 only country. So again, probably suggesting a lower level jewel here, and they didn't know Mexico polls either, so maybe just a moving Andy here. Let's see what happens as they go down the road. I think it should be Campeche, right? I mean, it didn't really look like it to me at first, but it said that on the sign. Unfortunately, our our guy did not like Google that yet. And we're coming to the end of the round, so it's gonna have to be a big switch up for a correct guess here. And if he goes Campeche, that's weird. Ooh. So the possibility here is that what happened was he thought like Campeche was in Uruguay somehow. He comes up here to Mexico and then sees Campeche, remembers it from the sign. The problem here is that he doesn't even know Mexico polls, so the likelihood of him knowing the state of Campeche's name is pretty low. I just didn't see when the Googling would happen. It's possible that there was another person there and the guy guessing, the suspect, was like, hey, like Google Campeche, it could be something. I would say insufficient evidence for Googling here. That's my take on it. It's a very suspiciously close guess, but sometimes you get submitted for, you know, a lucky one. Yeah, this feels like Dijon, France to me. And there's nothing around and it's no move. Okay. Do they know the Dijon red roads? I would say that with no moving in an NPZ, that it's impossible with one round to say if I think someone's cheating. Just impossible. Oh, it wasn't even that close to Dijon. But you know what I'm saying? Like, without knowing the rating, the country, and like the context of the rest of the duel, like you just cannot, like, even someone 5Ks on an NPZ, it could just be a repeat, could just be whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to get at here. I would say not guilty on this one. This is clearly not a cheater. Unless it's a really low rated game, but even still, they could be French. Next one, we're back to moving. We're on Australia. It looks like South Australia, so we might get some places I know. Bramer Valley. Not heard of that though. Will we get some moving action here? Let's go. Okay, nice. I'm hoping for some town names that I know. But let's see. Rockley. No idea what that is. Possible to Google that, but they're gonna pass by. Yeah, this is very much just like South Australian landscape. Zooming into like Ravensthorpe, WA here. Interesting. And now zooming into Adelaide. Okay. Wow. Okay, we might actually have a scripter here. Because what was that switch up? You know? I really wish to know their rating, to know where they come from. This was a very suspicious round. I think if we looked at the context of other rounds in this duel, we would probably see similar guesses. I'm not really sure if they were trying to bait the camera by going there and then zooming into Adelaide after, or what? I mean, this is like, it's like very specific. Like, I would think maybe a cheater would just click Adelaide or just click north of Adelaide, like more central. This is just a better guess by far than what I would be doing in this exact round. So, am I confident that this person's cheating? Fairly, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think from what I can tell here, this person might be guilty of scripting and not Googling. That's my opinion here. Tell me what you think in the comments about that decision. I don't know. Let's go for a few more here. All right, into the next one here. We immediately appear to be in Bulgaria here. That's what I thought, at least. Somewhere in the Balkans, that's for sure. And we have the source of the river nearby and some Cyrillic. Uh-oh, this looks like a Googling job. Oh, Serbia, of course. And whereabouts do you think, my friend? So none of this is particularly gettable. Hotel, that's not gettable. The town name here is Blood. The source of the river's name is Blood. So yeah, I don't think this is boding well for our friend. Clicks there. Okay, this was cheating. This was Googling. I'm very certain of it. Even just one round is enough to tell that that was Googling. I mean, let's get one more cheater. I'm gonna say one more cheater for the video. First one here, New Zealand. And we got those typical thick white signposts. And we're back on moving, of course. Methven Town Centre. Yeah, potentially a New Zealander here. If they get an insane guess, it could just be because they are from New Zealand. Ashburton's nearby. I think it's on the South Island, right? 03, I believe so. I believe that might be South Island. Christchurch nearby. And yeah, we are on the South Island here. And these are fairly significant place names. Okay, we can see what the opponent is doing here as well. And look pretty legit to me. Googling was possible, but the fact is that the person was constantly moving. So it could just be a person with a knowledge of New Zealand who's getting reported for this. I would need to see other rounds of the duel. Scripting, I would say not guilty, and Googling, I would say either insufficient evidence or not guilty. I would probably lean on the side of not guilty here. Let's do, as I said, until we get our next cheater. This is Philippines. Again, quite an info-rich country. Can we see anything? I think oftentimes bridges do have some information on them. Goes back to spawn. Okay, immediately moving more like a pro here. And oof, any particularly good guess here would be kind of crazy. And just clicks middle and is pretty close. Okay, that was on moving. So an interesting decision-making process there from someone who seemed to be kind of a better player. That being said, I think there's insufficient evidence of anything bad going on here. I think it was just kind of legit looking, though maybe someone with ADHD or someone who can't concentrate on a round, because you could just move and find something useful, but apparently that wasn't their style. Fair enough, I relate. Okay, next one here. Driving left, Tasmanian pole tops here. So if you watched my recent video over on the second channel, channel, Geoguessr Explained, you would know the Tasmanian pole top. This has got red soil, so it kind of feels like a bit more towards Hobart to me, or maybe up on the north coast. I think it's like the Hobart kind of soil. Hills in the distance, jumps back to spawn. I like to see that. Yeah, the question is, how close is the guess going to be? Because we did have some kind of a name at spawn, but the moving's looking very legit to me so far. So let's see. Gets down the road. Okay, what was that? That was pretty useful, I think. Goes backwards, but doesn't look at the sign. No idea what's going on here. Maybe the panning's a bit inaccurate. I noticed that glitch in the World Cup, so maybe he's actually looking at the sign right now, I think. And zooms in on the landscape. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like everything's offset here, as far as I could tell. So I was gonna get into Taz and how accurate. We're not gonna be able to give this guilty, are we? We just don't know what's on the sign. Well, maybe we can scrub back. We can actually scrub back. It seems like he's actually scanning here. Okay. This to me looks like a very legit guess of where it could be. Still scanning, taking his time, moving more down towards the Hobart region, which I was thinking initially. So maybe we'll see that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the panning is off here. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Otherwise, just staring off into the distance makes little sense, right? So that's what I think is going on here. Will we see a last minute switch to the 5K? That is what I'm curious about. Clicks inside a valley here. We are in a valley, so that could make sense. We come to the end of the round here. Still just scanning. This looks very legit to me. Unless we get a bona fide 5K here, then I can't imagine that it's going to be too bad. And ends up clicking the right road at the last moment. I think we're going to have to scrub back to that sign. So he first gets to the sign like about here. Welcome to Avondale. Yep. He found it last moment. That is absolutely legit, I would say. I'm going to say not guilty on both accounts. Possible cheats, but very improbable, I would say, on this occasion. No cheater yet, so we continue. Brazil, with an antenna, with Brazil poles. Immediately knows it. Goes for the zoom Roraima. Seems legit. I don't necessarily think it is Roraima, but again, it was actually. In a forest in Roraima. This person's clearly a good player. I mean, not guilty on both accounts. No Googling going on there, and scripting seems very unlikely. Okay, next one here. We're in Albania. This has some potential to be fun. On moving, it's a very quick round. Immediately, is it going to be a Tirana zoom? If it is, then okay. What is this, man? Clearly not cheating. I mean, potentially cheating, but just no evidence to suggest it, though. If it's ever a capital city, I just don't care. Like, it's irrelevant whether it's cheating or not, you know. Saw the red on the plate and guessed Tirana. Whoop-de-doo. We'll see what happens here. We got Taiwan. Pretty obvious one. Are we going to get an insane 5K? The problem is you just don't know if someone speaks Chinese or something. So, you know, if they can read traditional Mandarin script, then you know. Okay, finding something here. Again, yeah, someone could just be able to read Chinese. We're gonna get a good idea though, because if they can only read Chinese and they're only reading Chinese, that's chill. But if they've come to English and then all of a sudden get it really accurate, then that's more interesting. So let's see here. Okay, find the area code 05. They might know area codes. Goes Tainan, and I don't think it said Tainan anywhere in English at least. So this looks very legit to me, to be honest. I'm not seeing anything too much the matter here, but there's still a little bit of the round to go. Finds this multi-point. Yeah, nothing really going on here. I guess runs out of time, and it was Yunlin. What is this being reported for, bro? Completely legit. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to end the video, but apparently we continue on here, and we're back in Australia. Seems like people love to report people with close guesses on Australia. TNQ Palms Nursery. TNQ. If I was gonna think like something North Queensland, maybe? It doesn't look like Northern Queensland. It looks more like Southern Queensland. So let's see about that. Sees the short reflector and just stays. Interesting. Interesting. Not quite sure what to feel about that. Okay, time's running out. It is a no move round. Okay, I didn't realize that at first, so that's why we're kind of locked into position here. TNQ, and it should be Cairns, I guess, if that's the guess. Opponent's over in Northern Territory, and it is. If this person is Australia, then NQ often stands for Northern Queensland in Australia. I've come across people say that before. If this person's not Australian, kind of suspicious, because they didn't even zoom the rest of the landscape, right? And they might be zoomed in on the sign at the end there. So I could say that this person is probably either Australian or cheating. So I'm going to say insufficient evidence, and I'm going to say not guilty of scripting. And I think I might end the video there. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of the system. I think it's a bit flawed as it stands, but most things on Geoguessr are before they get fixed up. So hopefully they add a little bit more information about the person without making them identifiable. And then we can get a better experience, catch even more cheaters. And if this video does well, I'll probably be back with it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, and goodbye.